shock, Putin loses another ally. Azerbaijan turns to the USA and ready to arm Ukraine. NATO bases next. Breaking news from Azerbaijan, another brotherly nation is under threat. Evil knows no borders. Russia has sent a clear strikes facilities in Ukraine owned by an Azerbaijan companies. Despite these attacks, Baku is sure of continued cooperation with Ukraine. President of Azerbaijan Ilham Aliyev no longer fears Kremlin threats. In surprising geopolitical twist, Azerbaijan has openly chosen a new ally, Armenia. United States stepped in as mediator between the two historical rivals. Russian propagandists claim that with such action, NATO bases will soon appear in Azerbaijan. This unexpected alliance marks a major shift in South Caucasus. Azerbaijan president, who once maintained cautious relation with Moscow, no longer fears Putin threats. Baku ready to supply weapons to Kiev, a move that could reshape the regional balance of power. Azerbaijan prepares for an open confrontation. What comes next for Putin are shocking circles.
The special military operation has no boundaries and can take place anywhere, even in the Caspian region. Kremlin propagandists have started issuing warnings to Azerbaijan. Solovyov, Gurulev and others are threatening to go after Azerbaijani entrepreneurs in Russia and possibly even carry out a so-called special military operation like the one in Ukraine.
And soon, the Caspian may find itself in a situation where NATO bases could appear there. And this is so dangerous that from a geopolitical standpoint, it could lead to consequences that might make this not the last special military operation of our generation.
If we also start putting pressure on the local guys here who are engaged in some questionable businesses, then things will change dramatically. It could become even more intense. I can't quite grasp it, but there are other ways it could go. The term special military operation is quite flexible. Flexible along the entire border of the Russian Federation.
The reason for such hysteria is the agreements reached between Ilham Aliyev and Nikol Pashinyan. Azerbaijan and Armenia have renounced territorial claims against each other and signed a peace agreement in Washington.
The parties, in their international relations, refrain from the use of force or the threat of its use against the territorial integrity or political independence of any state, or in any other manner inconsistent with the purposes of the United Nations.
Undoubtedly, this already marks a break in relations with the Kremlin, and the aforementioned document from November 9, 2020, the trilateral one, where Putin acted as mediator, is essentially now a thing of the past. In any case, that's how it is perceived in the South Caucasus, in Azerbaijan and in Armenia. It is clear that 5 years later today, the geopolitical situation has changed. Today, the United States is acting as a mediator, and the entire configuration, the geopolitical configuration in the South Caucasus is changing.
Russia does not agree with this turn of events, and in the South Caucasus, a new round of tensions with the Russian Federation is expected. On the night of August 6th, Russian UAVs attacked the Olovka gas complex station in the Odessa region, through which Azerbaijani gas enters Ukraine. 2 days later, on August 8th, Russian drones attacked the Sakar oil depot in the Odessa region, injuring 4 company employees. The next day, Ilham Aliyev spoke with Volodymyr Zelensky and accused Russia of Putin's strikes on Azerbaijani facilities in Ukraine.
During the phone conversation, the parties condemned Russia's targeted airstrikes on the oil depot owned by the Azerbaijani company Sakar and other facilities of our country on Ukrainian territory, as well as on the gas transmission station transporting Azerbaijani gas to Ukraine. They also emphasized their confidence that this would in no way lead to a suspension of cooperation in the energy sector between Azerbaijan and Ukraine. Press service of the President of Azerbaijan.
Aliyev also ordered $2 million to be allocated for humanitarian aid to Ukraine.
All of this is part of the ongoing confrontation between Russia and Azerbaijan, which began precisely with that plane crash and continues to this day. And then there was the most recent summit in Washington. In other words, there is a geopolitical confrontation underway, tensions have arisen, relations have become strained, and now it doesn't even matter what the cause is or how things are there at the moment. Strikes on the airbase, on the oil depot, it's all just part of it.
Azerbaijani media, citing government sources, report that if Russia continues its aggressive policy toward Azerbaijan's interests, official Baku will begin to consider lifting the embargo on supplying weapons to Ukraine that are currently in its arsenal. Although Russian military correspondents claim that Azerbaijan has already long since made the decision in favor of supplying weapons to Ukraine.
Given that, according to a number of sources, Baku is already ramping up production of 120 mm and 150 mm artillery shells for subsequent shipment to Ukraine, the decision has, in any case, already been made. The only question is how this will be carried out, openly and directly, or through a chain of intermediaries and front companies.
There have already been multiple issues in interstate relations between Russia and Azerbaijan. For example, in July of 2022, there was information that Azerbaijan was supplying guided aerial bombs, specifically supplying mortars, 82 millimeter ones, or other artillery shells. At that time, Azerbaijan said that supposedly it wasn't the Ministry of Defense doing this, but private companies, as if Azerbaijan were some kind of Germany, where private military companies can be involved in arms supplies.
Azerbaijan has openly chosen a new ally, the United States, and Ilham Aliyev is no longer afraid of threats from the Kremlin and is ready for open confrontation. If previously arms supplies to Ukraine were kept secret, now Azerbaijan plans to openly provide weapons to Ukraine to fight against the Kremlin. And Putin has in fact completely lost his influence in this region.
Every voice matters. Join our community, support independent journalism and help us bring you the truth from Ukraine. Become a member of Ukraine Today. Join us now.
What's going on?
What's going on?
Huh? It's nothing serious.
Are they flying? Where? Where are they flying to?
Fires at factories and closed airports. That's how August began in Russia. Intensity and efficiency. Every single day, Ukrainian armed forces consistently strike Russian military targets or defense industry enterprises and subsequently report successful attacks on unique and significant defense plants located within Russia itself. These attacks have exposed problems within the Russian Federation's military-industrial complex and caused panic among Russians.
The explosion is making my health worse. What should I do? Did it pierce your fingers? Oh my God! You need to get out of here!
Thanks to the Ukrainian Defense Forces, the only Russian plant producing helium for rockets in Orenburg was hit. Local residents reported a series of explosions. The M5 highway was blocked. The Orenburg helium plant processes up to 15 billion cubic meters of gas per year and produces helium, which is critically important for rocket engineering, as well as the space and aviation industries. Helium plays a key role in rocket launches. This plant is an important facility for the Russian military-industrial complex directly involved in the aggression against Ukraine. In Yaroslavl, a major fire mysteriously broke out in the building of a paint and coatings company that produces materials for Russia's military-industrial complex. Another strategically important enterprise was attacked in Tatarstan. The distance from the state border with Ukraine is more than 1,000 kilometers.
What is that?
Guys, I made it in there!
It went directly to the side, moving swiftly and precisely.
UAVs reached the workshops in Yalabuga. Here, on the territory of Yalabuga, is the headquarters of the company that manufactures combat drones.
Olya? Hey, to us!
In 2024, the plant significantly expanded the production of Iranian-designed strike and reconnaissance drones using Chinese components and recruiting Russian teenagers for work.
There you go. There you go.
The Defense Forces gave Stavropol's Monocrystal an explosive night. Monocrystal specializes in the chemical industry, producing synthetic sapphire for optoelectronics, which is used in military equipment.
It's going. We hit it. Yeah, we hit it. We hit the oil depot. Here's our air defense. Damn. Glory to Russia. That's all.
Monocrystal also produces silicon carbide, which is used in armor protection, radars, and military electronics. Monocrystal fulfills state defense orders for the Russian Federation. Eyewitnesses recorded smoke on the factory grounds. Official authorities confirmed the drone threat but did not provide information about damage to the plant.
It's flying! It's flying! It's firing! 1,000 each.
In the city of Arzamaz, Ukrainian drones recently launched an attack on a significant instrument-making plant.
One of the country's leading enterprises in the defense industrial complex with a 60-year history. The plant produces devices for the aviation, missile, and space industries.
The Arzamaz plant produces gyroscopic instruments, control systems, onboard computers, as well as key components for the Kh-32 and Kh-101 cruise missiles. In 2020, the plant was awarded the National Golden Idea Prize in the field of military technical cooperation. The plant is under sanctions from the US and the European Union. Before the successful attack, a note appeared on the Vysoda resource, which covers news of the military-industrial complex, stating that the plant had acquired new equipment. Now, the press service of the Arzamaz instrument building plant is sending out letters in public forums demanding that no one write about the attack, even threatening consequences. Russian defense industry enterprises working for the war against Ukraine are absolutely legitimate military targets. Successful attacks by Ukrainian forces help to reduce the military capabilities of the aggressor country's army. The work to demilitarize facilities that produce weapons for terrorizing peaceful Ukrainian cities continues and is becoming increasingly intense.
That's all from me now. Stay tuned for more breaking news updates in our Tone Report. The situation is changing fast and we'll be here to bring you the truth. Make sure to subscribe and give us a like. See you next time.